I thought MyHealthRecord was going to do this. It doesn't, but man, it should. Welcome to this episode. My name's Tom Rolley for Graduate Medicine. MyHealthRecord, probably one of the more disappointing features brought into medicine from IT. We previously discussed how difficult it is in IT when you combine it with medicine and the government, and MyHealthRecord certainly represents that. What does it do? Well, it right now gives access to results, which is quite helpful, and it gives access to letters and discharge summaries, which is also helpful. But most of the time, I've got that stuff. If I'm the GP, I've got that stuff. It's ended up in my software. It's like helpful if someone's out of town or they're a new patient or they got a result somewhere else, you can pull it up. But my hopes for MyHealthRecord when it first came out would be that it actually was a real-time record of what that patient has, particularly when it comes to medicines, like the medications that they're prescribed. This would be really useful, but it doesn't happen right now. Right now, I as the GP think I know what they're on as a patient, and so does the specialist, and so does the pharmacist, and so does the patient themselves. And we've got all of these people interacting with a medication list, and when one person out of those four makes a change for whatever reason, perhaps there's a running short on a particular medication, the pharmacist changes it, or the cardiologist drops the medication half or adds a new one, or I make a change as the GP. Now, I'm operating off false data. Everyone in that circle is operating off false data unless the patient themselves are meticulous and they track exactly what's going on, but the number of patients that do this is probably 1 in 10. They should pay more attention because it would make my job a whole lot easier as a GP. It would make everyone's job a whole lot easier, but it doesn't happen. But if we had a single source of truth of what that patient is on, this would make a difference for everybody in that department. Let's not forget emergency departments and hospitals as well. They're also interacting with that patient's list, and that's pretty common for patients to come out of hospital on a whole bunch of new medications. And yes, they come with a piece of paper, but general practice is pressed for time. 15 minutes. And you want me to go through and look and check, and I've got to do that. But it takes away from the consultation, like, well, how are you after the hospital? What happened? What happened there? Tell me about it. What do we need to do now? But I got to go through and manage medication changes and put it into my software because the hospital changed it. But maybe the patient isn't even taking some of those. They're like, yeah, I took those for 3 days, but they were terrible and I stopped them. Is that important? Maybe. It might not be important. But they have no ability to tell that to any single source of truth. But MyHealthRecord could well have been this, and it could still do this, that it represented the single source of truth for that patient. Now, are there other options? Yeah, sure. We could go to private enterprise and say, hey, we've got to have this. We need this. Can you chuck it in the blockchain? Can you do it in crypto? But they're going to need to pay for it. Or the government pays private business to do this, and that's an option as well. But the usefulness and the safety of having a single source of truth for what medications every patient's on is significant. It decreases workload, it decreases risk. It means that everybody interacting with that patient, including the patient, knows what they're on right now. The dosages, the medications. This would be a really helpful thing. So perhaps you're out there like, you know what? I'm going to have an inspiration. I'm going to go after this. Well, that's awesome. My suggestion, though, as we've previously talked about, is be very careful if you have no experience in software, particularly medical, government plus IT. Dangerous ground without a whole lot of experience and a whole lot of cash. But nonetheless, perhaps the government can get their stuff together and go, you know what? Actually, this is a good idea. If we had a single source of truth, real-time, accurate medication list for all the patients in Australia. I'll leave it up to you guys. If you think that's a good idea, put a comment, hell yes, that's a good idea, in the comments below. Thanks for tuning in today. Look forward to seeing you in another episode as we continue to try and sort out the mess that general practice finds itself in 2023. See you then.